The HO-229 was a German experimental flying wing from World War II, and the American P-51 Mustang was one of the most flown aircraft by the United States Army Air Corps during World War II, fighting German aircraft in Europe and fighting against Japanese Zeros in the Pacific. So the Mustang is one of the most widely recognized and known warbirds. HO-229, however, is not. But in War Thunder, a lot of players are very understanding of the HO-229's potential. Sitting at a much lower BR than a lot of other aircraft, sitting at only 7.0, it is extraordinarily nimble in dogfights. So a lot of players, especially in ground RB, will run into the HO-229, and I'm actually going to try to show you guys how to completely destroy it and beat it in dogfights. Now, the HO-229 is, like I said, extremely maneuverable, but it has one really wide and big major flaw. It can only really move successfully in one direction. The Mustang can move in pretty much any direction, up, down, left, right. It has yaw. The HO-229, whichever way the top of the aircraft is, that is the direction the plane is going to go. It will not go into negative G's, and it does not have enough, maneuverability to actually roll over. So it can pull very well. It's one of the best pulling aircraft, but it can only pull over its canopy. It can only chase its own nose. And once you understand that, there are a lot of things you can do to look for where it's going, how to manipulate which way you want it to go. I mean, one of the best things I can do and tell you guys to do is to roll in one direction, let the HO-229 bite for that direction, and then just snap roll and go the other way. It does pull very well. As long as you watch where its nose is, it's pretty easy to counter. Now, I will say, we are not even flying a top BR Mustang. We're not flying the H, we're flying the D. And this one is not as superior as the P-51H, but I just wanted to showcase that you really can take out a mid-range Mustang or a mid-range US fighter and still hold your own with the HO-229. I also was, wanting to see what would a fight between these two really look like. With the Mustang being the most, one of the most mission sortie heavy aircraft in the late ends of World War II over Berlin, the HO-229 and it could have absolutely met if the Germans had used it in combat. But obviously, as we know, Germany had a lot of aircraft that they just never got off the ground or never really got into production, HO-229 being one of them. But it is still an amazing feat that they were actually able to invent something like this, a flying wing that so closely resembles some of the most modern aircraft in the world, like the B-2 and the B-21. However, in War Thunder, despite it being one of the best dogfighters in its BR range, it does have, like I said, that major flaw, and it is super easy to counter once you know what you're doing. Now, don't get me wrong, if you run into a really good HO-229 pilot, he is going to give you a lot of trouble. But like I said, once you know what to look for, it's actually a lot easier than you guys think. I will say, when flying the HO-229, it is a lot of fun, but you really do only have, those severe limitations of you can only really go in the one direction. And one of the things that the HO-229 can really do to counter this is to just be constantly holding S. And what I mean by this is he's constantly pulling, or if you're constantly pulling your max AOA, if you're constantly holding S and making it to where you are always pulling, 6, 7 Gs, you are going to just be inside of the turn radius of everything and not even allow anything to be able to shoot at you. And then once they extend away, you can just chase them. So there is things you can do in the HO-229 to counter this. When I'm telling you how to do this to counter the HO-229, there's ways the HO-229 can technically counter this. Just holding S and pulling extreme Gs for the entirety of the fight. That's really the only thing it can do, because the second it goes to try to switch directions, it's just going to bleed off all its speed. The Mustang's going to come around much faster than it, and it's going to be in a lot of trouble. But if it constantly holds S, constantly is pulling its max AOA, it's going to be able to remain, where in a state where it's always at a high enough G and AOA ability that it is just going to be too hard for the Mustang to actually get down and shoot it. I don't normally fly or find the HO-229 in air RB. I normally find it in ground RB because it has really great cannons and it has that great dogfighting potential. So if you guys play a lot of ground or be around the American 6.7, 7.0 range. This is where I see most of these guys, the HO229s at least. And ARB, they're fine, but like I said, they're just too, they're too good at isolated dogfights to really be great in ARB. It's still a good aircraft in my opinion. I have a lot of fun playing the HO229, but it's just one of those things that, for the most part, it seems to just be really superior in the isolated dogfights. And keeping that in mind, it just is a pretty fun aircraft to watch fly. I mean, it's really unique. It's one of the only aircraft in the game we have in WarThunder that is like this. And it's definitely cool because I think the only other ones we'll get is the B-2 Spirit and the B-21 Raider. Anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Do you guys think the HO229 is a super great idea of an aircraft? Do you think the Germans kind of had a fun idea or a good idea with it? And do you guys think the Mustang is the true king of the skies? Let me know down below. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Make sure to join the Discord link down below in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.